No judgment, just real talk. This is the Apology Accepted podcast. The views expressed on the Apology Accepted podcast are those of the host and guest and do not reflect the views of any affiliate organization or individual. The content is for informational and entertainment purposes only and should not be considered professional advice. For personal, legal, or emotional matters, please consult a qualified professional. By continuing to listen to this podcast, you acknowledge and accept this disclaimer. Hey friends, welcome back to the Apology Accepted podcast, the space where we dive into real conversations about healing, growth, and creating the life we deserve. I am your host, LaTesha Monique, and I am so grateful to have you tune into this episode. In this week's episode, we're diving into one of the most common experiences we all face, and that's stress and anxiety. Whether it's from work, family responsibilities, or just trying to keep up with life, stress can take a serious toll on your body and mind. But the good news is you don't have to navigate it alone. Join me as I share practical, proven tools to help you manage those overwhelming feelings and reclaim your peace. From breathing techniques and grounding exercises to daily self-care habits and mental reframing, I'm going to share simple strategies you can start using today. So as I shared, I think on every episode, and if you follow me on social media, I've definitely spoke on it several times. But in 2010, I was diagnosed with severe depression and anxiety. And prior to that, I kind of knew a little bit about the diagnosis, not a lot. And so I really didn't listen to what my body was saying. And I think the only reason why I actually went to a professional is because my husband was just like, it might be time. Because 2010, I just given birth to my youngest child, and we had 3 other small children. And even though life was not like tremendously bad, it was still a whole lot going on with me mentally that I just didn't understand. And so I had to agree with my husband, and it was time. And so I did. And so one of the talking points I want to go ahead and start on is that one of the things that we don't do in the early stages of just paying attention to our bodies is identifying our stress signals early, meaning listening to our bodies and what it's telling us, whether it's slowing down enough to listen to the body or just making sure that even in our dark moments because in depression sometimes you will shut down, and even in those shutdown moments, still being able to listen to what our body is trying to tell us. Many people don't realize that stress often shows up in the body before it even reaches the mind. So learning to recognize our body signals can prevent panic attacks, it can prevent burnout, and it can definitely save us some of the harder steps and processes that come from not listening to the body. Like, for instance, if you ever notice yourself getting like these headaches all of a sudden, and you're a person that you don't really get headaches, And then you realize, you know what, I got a headache. And I actually had a headache last week. And I actually, had a headache week before that. Or you just find yourself feeling tired more often than usual. Like you don't really feel like doing nothing. You don't really feel like, somebody didn't ask you to come out for happy hour. You don't really feel like going. You don't want to do it. Sometimes we be like, you know what? I'm just being lazy. I'm just not feeling up to it. Well, this could be a sign of your body telling you that you're overwhelmed. And I know we all have our moments in where we think we are the doctors. Yeah. We either diagnose ourselves or, we be like, oh, well, it's just this and I'm going to take 2 Tylenols and I'm going to be all right. That's me. I've done that way more than I want to share. But nevertheless, I have been my own doctor before. And at the end of the day, we have to pay attention to what our body is telling us. We have to do our own daily check-ins with ourselves. Just like I always see on social media, it has become a great trend where people will post check-ins. I mean, hey, I do it myself. Where we're checking in on others, seeing how everybody else is feeling and how everybody else is doing. But how often do we really check in on ourselves and be true to that check-in? And checking in with yourself is not a once a day thing. Like, check in with yourself as many times as you have to keep your sanity or to keep your peace. You might have a good morning, but just because you have a good morning does not mean your full 24 hours of your day is going to be good. So, you might have to at lunchtime check in with yourself. Like, hey, how's everything going with me right now? What am I feeling? Am I feeling any tension right now? What is happening? And then you may or may not have to adjust accordingly to how you feeling. And capture those moments and how you feeling. Y'all know, if you have been listening to my episodes, y'all know how I feel about journaling. I stand 10 toes down behind journaling. I think it's a great thing. I think it's something that if you have children, you definitely may want to try incorporating that with your children, because it keeps you in the know of what is going on with you. All right, journaling has become like second nature for me. And I used to try to keep everything mentally, but I forget. I am a part of the 40 plus club, and I'm not saying just because I'm 40 plus that I'm forgetful. I'm just saying my mind does not work the same way it did when I was in my early 20s, okay? So journaling definitely helps me, especially when you're just trying to keep up with how frequently something is happening with you. Again, if you're a person that you never get headaches and you're journaling and you didn't put down for the last 4 weeks that you didn't had a headache twice each week for 4 weeks, then that may be something to look at a little deeper. You might have to bring that up in your next doctor's appointment. For me, I don't bring that up because I suffer from migraines. So I have learned to live with migraines. And migraines and headaches are 2 different things. It is not the same. And I do journal my migraines. But again, is not something that freaks me out where I need to bring it to the attention of my doctor or anything. But yes, journaling helps you keep up with yourself. It helps you keep up with your check-ins. And when I started journaling, I was only journaling like one time a day, meaning at nighttime before I go to bed, I was trying to remember my entire day. And it was like, wait, I don't even. So how was I feeling at lunch? Because that time has passed. And what I started doing is carrying a notebook with me, where not like a big old 5-subject notebook, but went to the dollar store, one of my favorite places, and got the little small notebooks. I think it's a tad bit bigger than my iPhone. And I carry that with me because I jot in that. And so throughout my day, I kind of put bullet points in there or write something down. So at the end of the night, when I get out my cute journal, see, my journal that's not going with me everywhere, I'm able to kind of reflect and say, oh, okay, yeah, this one. And I'm able to just write in my journal without really trying to remember or forcing myself to remember everything that happened throughout my day, because I got my little notebook that I done carried around with me, and now I'm able to, journal effectively. So that's another thing that you can do. Carry a little notebook, a little pad, whatever you want to call it. I mean, you can even use your phone. All right. I like to write. And so sometimes I'll use my phone. Most times I'm writing on my little notepad. But you can definitely use the notes in your phone. Like if you're having a moment, and it could be a moment at work where somebody may have pissed you slam off. And I don't think you're going to forget that once you write in your journal at the end of the night, but it's definitely something you can kind of like jot down, so you know that this is a reflection of your day and that this is something that happened and that, yes, you're ready to write this down in your journal. So I love, love, love journaling. I think it is a great tool to use, especially if you're someone that has been either diagnosed or you just having these feelings of anxiety and depression. Journaling is definitely a great thing. Self check-ins more than once. You might have to do it again several times a day. You might, get in the habit of doing breakfast, lunch, and dinner. I don't know how many people actually eat breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Me personally, I may have breakfast and I may have dinner. Lunch is a touch and go type of thing, but you can, hey, you might even have to set a reminder in your phone when your alarm go off and there's a certain tone. You set a different tone so it don't sound like your alarm where you waking up. Set a different tone, and it might say checking in. I've done that as well, but now I got a gazillion different alarms, and I need to adjust that. But yes, I will have my alarm go off, and it will actually say check in. And I got that off the TikTok too. I got that idea off of TikTok. Somebody I was following on TikTok, and she mentioned how she do that, and so I was like, oh, let me try it. And I did, and it was very helpful. It definitely was very helpful. So that's another thing. Everybody's got these smartphones now. I don't know anybody without one. So your smartphone can tell you, hey, check in. But your daily check-ins and your journaling will definitely help you with just these early signs of what is happening with me. Next, we're going to take a moment. That has been a hashtag of mine for a while, actually. Take a moment. We all need a moment. And I know that hashtag really was for me as a reminder that I do not have to be on go to be successful. I do not have to be moving every second of my day to be successful. I do not have to make it seem like I am so busy that I can't even function to be successful. And I started that hashtag as a reminder to myself, like, hey, take a moment. All right. And your moment could be anything. You don't need a 30-minute meditation session to benefit from mindfulness. You just have to take a moment or a short pause during your day to reset your nervous system. And I didn't even know that even a short pause during your day can actually reset your nervous system. I learned that in therapy. All right, so just taking a moment, and in that moment, you might just take a deep breath and just breathe in 10 seconds. Breathe out, because you just need to reset. Sometimes life hit us real fast in all different directions and everything. And so that saying, it's a saying, when it rains, it pours. Sometimes you get one not so good thing, because I don't want to use the word bad, but you get one not so good thing that happened. And sometimes it can be a trickle down effect where, all right, now you got wind of another not so good thing, and then wind of another not so good thing, where you just need to pause and take a moment. It is nothing wrong with taking a moment. Meaning, again, you don't even need a full 30 minutes. It ain't like you gotta say, you know what, Lord, let me take me a moment. I'm gonna do some meditation. I gotta go get my mat. I gotta be in my quiet space. I gotta have my candles lit. No. If you work at someone's office or a building for 8 hours, you don't have that type of time. But what you do have is a few 15-minute breaks, and then 30-minute lunch, hour lunch, whatever. In those moments where you might need to walk away from your nice office or walk away from your nice cubicle, go to your car and sit for 10 minutes and just breathe in silence. No music, no nothing, no phone. You take your phone, you cut your ring off. I always take my phone with me because I am afraid of elevators, and so I either got to ride the elevator with someone, or if I have to ride by myself, my God, it sends me in that's a whole nother episode. Anyway, let me stay on track. So get to your car, 10 minutes, and just breathe. You ain't drive to work that day. You done got dropped off, your car in the shop, whatever. Okay, cool. No worries. Walk outside the building and face an area where is not many cars coming in or going out. So it might be on the side of the building, it might be the back of the building, where you see more greenery than pavement. And you just stand there and you take, or if you want to sit down in the grass, I would love to sit down in the grass, but I'm allergic. So I would stand and just close my eyes and just have a moment to just take deep breaths in, hold it for 10 seconds, let it out. Because sometimes our mind be racing and it's just like, oh, it gotta stop. I just need a moment in which I can breathe and reset and gather my thoughts again. And I said 10 minutes. It does not even, you don't even need 10 minutes. You can actually use a minute. Just anything to get your mind to reset. So those moments that we take and we be like, you know what? Let me not look at the computer right now. Let me, take a moment. But then you're scrolling with your moment. You on Facebook, you on TikTok, you on Instagram, whatever you want. Like, no, use that moment right there and you can take 60 seconds and do a breathing exercise. For all of my work at home folks, I step outside. When I've just had enough of the screen, I step outside on the porch and I just stand. And I'll take me a good deep breath in, hold it maybe 7 to 10 seconds, and let it go. And then I stretch. And when I say I stretch, I don't mean like stretching as if I'm at the gym. I just put my hands in the air. I do left to right, just kind of to reset me. And to be honest, when I go back and sit in front of my computer, I am better. Not great, but better, because I needed that moment away from my screen, or just a moment in general where I can be working, but my mind is racing on so much other stuff along with work, but just so much other stuff where I can't really focus. It's like I'm all over the place. That's when I really know, okay, Tisha, get up, stand outside, catch a wind or something, catch anything other than, sitting right here and continuing to be at your screen. So taking a breath, doing just these mindfulness things will help you throughout your day. And it's not something that you have to do just one time. Anytime you feel like you need to take a moment, then remember your mindfulness actions. Remember the things you can do. You can stretch. You can do your deep breathing. Like, you can just step outside and I know I used to have beautiful views. Like, one thing I learned about me moving to Las Vegas is that I love scenery. Like, that's a big deal for me. And to be able to look out my window or step outside of the door and I see beautiful mountains, the trees, like, for me, that was just so relaxing to my mind. And that's all it took for me. I could step outside and just watch the skies. And that's literally all it took for me. So what I'm telling you guys is that it does not have to be this thing where you say, you know what? oh, I got a meditation class every Tuesday at 7. It don't have to be this difficult, because life is complicated sometimes and schedules don't always go as planned. So take your moments throughout your day because you need them. Now, I don't think I would ever stop talking about this. Boundaries. Oh, yes. I think I spoke a little bit about this last week, and the week before that, and the week before that. I don't think I will ever stop talking about boundaries, but boundaries are peace, not punishment. And so many times the person or people that you are setting clear, positive boundaries with, they offended because they don't understand. And sometimes we have a hard time setting boundaries, but understand that the boundaries are peace. It is not meant for punishment. All right. Stress often builds from overextending ourselves. We are giving. We have nothing left to give. What is happening? Okay. Learning to set clear boundaries can drastically improve emotional well-being and reduce anxiety. And I learned that the hard way. I learned that after overextending, after saying, yeah, okay, well, cool. Well, yeah, okay, well, cool. Call me anytime. All right, yeah, well, no. We have to set clear boundaries to help us, to help our anxiety, because we already overwhelmed. Okay, I take that back. I'm already overwhelmed. So I had to jump in, and I had to understand that me setting these boundaries is not a punishment. It's not a punishment to the person that I'm setting boundaries with, and it's not a punishment to myself. But I have to be clear on my availability, what I'm willing to do, what I'm not willing to do, and at the cost of whatever it is. You know, my time, your time should be expensive, and it should not be something that you allow people to dictate for you. You know, never allow anyone to tell you what you're doing with your time. People will look at your life and your lifestyle, and they will assume that they get to tell you what you have time for, what you're not busy for, what, I hear this so much on social media, actually, where people that work from home, they say, hey, working at home ain't no joke, and people think that is easy, and just because I'm working from home does not mean that I am available. And I totally agree. Working from home is not this cakewalk like people think it is, for those who have never worked from home. And sometimes people will say, oh, but girl, you ain't doing nothing. Or you might be the friend that don't have kids. So it's like, girl, well, you ain't doing nothing. I ain't got my kids this weekend. Come out with me. Whatever the case may be. I've seen that plenty of times before as well. And no. And you should not feel bad for saying, girl, I'll catch you next time. Yeah, girl, no. And some people don't like to tell their truth of why they're saying no. Meaning, no, because I just don't want to. And you don't have to even say your why. Because like I mentioned before in the last episode, that no is a complete sentence. So put a period at the end of it and keep it moving. But for those that you may have close relationships to, a good friend or uncle, cousin, whoever, whatever. Yeah, and you want to give that extra, because you feeling like, okay, I should tell them why, then it's no, because I don't want to. If that's what your no is for. If it's no because I'd rather sit in the house and have my own time because this week has just been one of those weeks, then that's okay too. We have to be okay with saying no. Even supervisors at work may be like, you know what, so and so ain't do her job correctly, or ain't do this correctly here. I need your help with X, Y, and Z. Well, guess what? No. Because doing those extra tasks may cut into your family time. It may, cut into what you have going on next. So we have to respectfully learn how to start saying no to extra work tasks that cut into our evening family time, our evening self time. And it's okay, because at first you will feel guilty about it. Like, man, I could have just helped her, or, I should have. But if your thought process is saying yes because of fear of losing your job, then I think that might be a different conversation, because it's something else that's happening. But you should definitely be able to say, I can't help at this time, and not feel guilt or not feel like, Lord, I'm about to lose my job. All right. Now, the first time, like I said, you will feel guilty. I've been there, done that. Like, my manager have all these different projects that, she done formed off the top of her head. And now she's overloaded. And now it's a little trickle-down effect where she want everybody else to help. And it's like, nah, I can't. And at this time, I was doing school at night. And so me getting off at 5 o'clock, having to be to class at 6, I worked 35 minutes away from the school and, my job. I always used to cut it close. And of course, it was college, and so you're not going to get like, dinged for not coming to class on time. But I've just always been a person when I came to class on time, because, you paying your money out of pocket. I want to hear everything from the time the professor walk in and say, "Good evening, class." Yeah, I need to hear that. So the first time I did feel guilty, but yeah, it started affecting my time and what I had going on. And so, yeah, you have to say no, and you have to be okay with setting these clear boundaries, because if not, then you are going to always be the go-to person. You not getting nothing extra for doing all of this extra. And some people might say, okay, well, put it on your time sheet, you get overtime. Well, I don't know about anybody else, and I'm only speaking from my own experience, but overtime for me, baby, by the time my check hit and they done taxed my overtime, it was not worth my time. So, I guess that's, situational. Everybody's situation is different. Overtime might be a great thing for somebody. It just was not for me. All right. But saying no is healthy. It gets you prepared mentally to be able to maybe declutter your mind. Have you ever just open your closet? And I say closet because that's the thing where I think most people throw stuff to. And it don't have to be your exact clothes closet, but you have a closet in your house. I know I do. Where you probably, I guess you're supposed to hang coats, but Everything go into that closet, and when you open the door, it's just like, boom, everything is right there at you. Like, I had a closet like that in my house where I just didn't open the door anymore. Because every time I opened this door to this closet, I was so overwhelmed. Just stuff everywhere, whether it was shoes, coats, hats, gloves, like you name it, it was probably in that closet. So I just didn't open the closet. We have to declutter our minds sometimes so we can make room for all of our healthy growth. This is how we start the process with managing our stress and anxiety, because clutter causes me anxiety. It causes me stress too. Like I just yes, it does. Clutter, I hate clutter. I hate it. I really do. And so we have to prepare ourselves to be able to manage our stress and anxiety in a way that is helpful for us and that it won't take so much of our mental capacity. So again, identifying your signs early. Yes, identify those signs early. Take your moments and set your boundaries. That's what we're doing all week long. Stress and anxiety may show up in our lives, but they don't have to take the lead. Today's episode was all about giving you real tools to create more calm in your day-to-day life, whether it's taking a break when your mind is racing, journaling to release your holding inside, or simply learning to say no without guilt. Remember, healing is not a race, it is a rhythm. Find what works for you and give yourself the grace to grow in that space. Thank you for tuning in to the Apology Accepted podcast. If this episode resonated with you, be sure to subscribe, leave a review, and share with someone who needs to hear it. Until next time, protect your peace and keep choosing yourself. Thanks for tuning in to another episode of the Apology Accepted podcast. I hope today's conversation sparked some growth for you. Be sure to subscribe and share with others who might need this reminder too. Until next time, you all, remember, healing starts with a simple apology. Take care.